One of the things that I love to talk about is actually how Studies Weekly started. The founder is Paul Thompson. He was a fourth grade teacher back in 1984, just like many of you. Had no resources for social studies. What resources he did have was very old. Trying to teach social studies in the classroom in the literacy blocks where it was very um, hard because the children were unengaged. It was kind of boring and quite frankly not relevant to testing and to scores that obviously are mandated nowadays. So what Paul did is he wrote a curriculum, kind of based off of the weekly reader format. And that format that he wrote, the curriculum that he wrote, become very popular, and that's where Studies Weekly was born. So one of the things that we love to talk about is the Learn to Live curriculum. And I like this little apple here because at the end of it all, we want our children to consume everything they need to be responsible students. To do that, they have to have engagement that's they're interested in. We need to be able to help them think critically so that they can be those responsible citizens. If we don't show them or teach them these things, this is what happens.
Hello everyone, I'm Courtney Plunk with Polytech. We're here on our home campus at Texas Tech to see just how much our fellow students know about their country. Let's find out if we're politically challenged. Okay, what is your name and major?
Leon V. Hill in psychology.
Jonathan Barnes, and I'm a sports management major.
Allison Eden, and I'm a pre-nursing major.
I'm Mitchell Johnson, and my major is human sciences.
Ryan in clinical psychology.
I'm Marissa, and I'm a psychology major.
Who won the Civil War?
Who won the Civil War?
We did? The South?
Like the one in 1965, or what Civil War?
Who won it?
Who was even in it?
Who was in it? Just tell me who was in it.
Oh, I don't know.
Why do you let me do this?
Who won the Civil War?
Yeah. Oh my God. Hey, I'm drawing a blank. It's one of those things. I feel like I'm on the Jimmy Kimmel Show.
America? I don't know.
What show is Snooki on?
Jersey Shore.
What show is Snooki on?
The Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore.
Unfortunately, that's what's happening. And, we want to get past that. We want to teach our children to learn how to live so they can answer those types of questions. So I like to use a little humor. As you can see here, the little cartoon. And I know that a lot of you educators that are watching this and get this daily. Here is a teacher telling a student, thank you, mother. Thank your mother for me, but I have my own lesson plans. Right? Parents know best. But anyway, when I talk about implementation ready, this is what happens in our product.
Here's how it works. With minimal setup and cost, teachers can integrate social studies and science content with literacy instruction time and cover the 4 C's of instruction: communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. Teachers can effectively teach state-mandated content with differentiated instruction right out of the box, with lessons disguised as attractive newspapers containing your state's social studies and science K-6 content. Students learn both in print and through online activities, and more. Studies Weekly was created for teachers, by teachers, to give them the tools they need to integrate social studies and science content standards with literacy instruction time in an easy-to-use, engaging format.
So again, implementation ready, and we're going to go through this in just a minute in the product itself. Student engagement. This is how student engagement works, and I know that many of you have probably had those students that you wonder what they're even doing in the classroom. But this is how it works.
Let's see it in action. Teachers give their students a copy of Studies Weekly. Right off the bat, they are highly engaged, looking at the relevant content with compelling illustrations and primary source photographs. Let them mark it up, underline, highlight, or just doodle. It's entirely theirs. Once they've explored the newspaper version, students can go to the web for interactive engagement. Studies Weekly is accessible via laptops, desktops, tablets, and smartphones. While on the web, students earn points that can be used to purchase virtual rewards by answering rigorous and relevant questions that are based on primary source-related media. With access to thousands of primary source media connections to journals, maps, letters, documents, and recent Studies Weekly interviews with people who lived through historical events like the Holocaust, World War II, and the Civil Rights Movement, students gain an emotional connection that enhances critical thinking. Learning has never been more engaging or profound for students.
So it's very engaging, and I can attest to that, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. But besides the social studies aspect, we have science as well. Very engaging, the content that we put together.
You might not know it, but NASA has done more for Americans than just space exploration. We have NASA to thank for things like smoke detectors, helmets for football players and bikers, freeze-dried food.
Children become very engaged. Virtual field trips.
Closet.
And one thing that I really love are the teachers. Teachers learn from teachers. And here's just a couple of examples of what some teachers have said to us.
I was telling you that I've been teaching for a very, very long time, and to be honest with you, I've never liked social studies. I've never had. And then I went from first grade, and then they moved me to fifth grade, and they gave me these, and I was so blown away by just how interesting they make social studies. My kids, there was a little boy in my class who struggles in everything. Okay, you know what he said to me the other day? He sat there and he said, I love social studies. And I thought, I'm doing such a good job. And it's all due to this. Fantastic.
I have a similar story coming up here in just a minute. Sean Mabry, one of my favorite teachers.
I'm Sean Mabry. Last week I was actually observed, and I teach both language arts and social studies. And I decided I would do my observation on complex sentences. And so after I taught my lesson on complex sentences, I got out the fifth grade edition of your Social Studies Weekly. And I told the kids, I said, I want you to go ahead and look for complex sentences in this text, because we had read it for the content the day before. And the language was so rich that my kids were able to find the complex sentences, and they were so excited that some of my lowest kids jumped out of their chairs and started screaming, I found one! I found one! And I just loved the enthusiasm and how your Social Studies Weekly even went into language arts.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Sean now works for Studies Weekly. She took her classroom out of that fifth grade classroom there in Kerrville, Texas, and took it to the state of Texas, well, and actually to the nation. And I'm so grateful for Sean and how she used this in the literacy block for her students. I've got many stories that I can talk about. This is me and Tina Little with Bernie ISD. She cross-checked the curriculum with 7 major publishers, and across the board, 100% of her children chose Studies Weekly and actually increased in reading comprehension. Big deal. Critical thinking. What does that mean? How does this work in the critical thinking aspect?
The key is the combination of Studies Weekly's hands-on newspaper format with their powerful online resources like point-and-click audio, more than 1,600 primary source mini-documentaries, customizable online assessments, a cool student reward system, and more. Students employ their emotional intelligence in what we call engaged content learning experiences. Critical thinking skills thrive as teachers guide their students to become discerning users of nonfiction, informational text, and much more. Through the Studies Weekly Learn to Live platform, teachers have access to thousands of media connections that cover a plethora of topics that keep your students engaged and enrich their lives, regardless of ability level, because it helps them connect the dots of the what, how, and why.